Humbled to be here on episode 20 of JPJ Health and Wellness. Um, so there are some observations, diving right into things that I want to go over today about where I'm currently at on my health and wellness journey, right? Um, so today I woke up fairly early. Um, and the reason I'm mentioning this will come full circle in a second. Um, I did my run, 2 laps, a quarter mile running, a quarter mile walking. Um, and if there's something to say on that, um, there's still moments of um, a little expectation, a little bit, right? Um, to full vulnerability, which I know will come in due time, um, with patience. Um, I believe that I am truly um, content with every training session that has um, passed so far. Um, and to say it's an interesting topic to bring up, right? Because this little gem is very unique to my journey and is sort of a tell all, a sign that lets me know that this is something that I love. There's something that is the right path to walk and something that is for me, not against me, right? Um, I remember my first run 3 weeks ago. Um, I'm pretty sure that throughout it I didn't notice, but there were little bits of anxiety that built up that towards the end of the run, I felt it. That came in a whole wave, right? Um, at once, after not paying attention, either not paying attention, not noticing it, or not being self aware or conscious of it, which I don't think being self aware or conscious of it was the issue because I was anticipating that. But it came in a whole wave at once. And when that wave passed, I noticed it passed only it only happened once, right? That first run. Then every training session that has passed since then, um, especially when it pertains to my running, my cardio, um, it hasn't come back. Uh, which I will say is because I become aware and conscious throughout my run of my thoughts or what passes through my mind throughout that particular session. Um, Still paying attention to how I feel at the beginning of those sessions, um, and how I feel at the end of my sessions. I think that's an important thing to acknowledge because it tells me that maybe, just maybe, subconsciously, I was preparing and consciously was prepared for the anxiety that I was going to face, excuse me, at the beginning. And ever since, uh, with consistency, which I want to touch on next, has been um, becoming more and more and more stable. Um, the anxiety, the angst has been in check. Um, and I did mention this uh, on another platform that I will not go too deep in it right now, but um, I'm not infallible. I'm not superhuman to anxiety. That's just the truth of the matter. I'm going through a human experience and I'm conscious and aware of when I feel anxiety, right? That's just the truth of the matter. Um, but, and I will use the analogy I use on the other platform. Um, my hot take and perspective on anxiety. For all of you who are familiar who watched the movie The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, um, when he is imprisoned as a prisoner of war um, by the samurai, he gets trained by someone who is housing him at the time, right? And he says there are three things, right? Why he's not succeeding in, he's dueling with a fellow samurai, and he is not succeeding in being able to even touch him in the duel, right? And the guy pulls him aside. He says, "Stop." He says, "Stop." He says, "There are three things that you need to be aware of, right? Your opponent, the other people watching you, the bystanders, and the sword." And he says, when you take no mind, uh, perspective on your duel, and you take away those eyeballs and the sword, the weapon, you have no mind. And from that point on, it just becomes intuition, and you're flowing with the duel, um, in synonym to your process, right? Or whatever you love to do, right? For me, in this particular setting and show, it's training, right? Um, when you take away those eyeballs and when you take away the weapon, right? It's just you. Now you're in control, right? Um, and that's the way I view anxiety, the angst. Um, and I have to say, uh, with all praise to the Most High, right? It's just a gift I can tell, I'm aware of, and I'm conscious of that. Um, I just don't focus on the judgment, the eyeballs, the weapon, right? The weapon, whatever's against me, right? Whoever's against me, right? Um, in terms of training, right? Um, I'm focused in my process, and being in my process, right? I have no fear. And I think that's an insight to share with you guys that one, for me, right? I know I love it because I'm in my process and that I have no fear in my process. And I think that has to come with a lot of contentment in my mind prior to training, right? And just the discipline and something I want to share is something personal to me, right? That has to do with my wellness aspect of my health and not my physical health, clearly, right? Um, and leading back to the main point, right, of consistency. Something I wanted to touch on earlier was consistency. Consistency, um, to be completely truthful, right? Consistency for me means that I'm already in pure gratitude of even being able to have these training sessions, and more importantly, be conscious and self aware of what goes on during these training sessions to share with you guys on the show. Um, and it's not in sight of in action because I have a sight of a goal or a vision, or I'm selfishly using my ambition to reach a goal, to um, one up or take advantage of my opportunities or situations. I'm grateful for the opportunity to even train, and to even share these thoughts with you. And that's the true purpose of this show, right? To document and to share the knowledge I have, and I will continue to attain through my process forever, no matter of the goal. So consistency um, is important. Um, if you want to, um, like, I need consistency because it breeds discipline, and I think that's the point I'm trying to make is if you make discipline a habit, a discipline of what you do a habit, the consistency is just intertwined with that. Um, and that's what I love to do. And those are my thoughts on today's training session. And this is episode 20 of JPJ Health and Wellness. I'll catch y'all later.